Women's Voices Worldwide is a nonprofit organization. We're located right here in Northampton, and our mission is to promote social justice around the globe by educating women and girls to be powerful speakers. We work with people on all areas of speaking, whether for personal life, academic life, work life, or out in the community, and regardless of financial means. Our focus on women and girls is a response to the dehumanizing and oppressive gender-based practices across the globe that both insidiously and violently render people silent. Whether through the overt intimidation of a fist or a gun that, yes, in the year 2014, are still wielded as a threat against women to silence those who dare use their voices. Or through the covert, but nevertheless destructive messages that plague our communities when little boys are praised for taking charge and boldly asserting themselves, while little girls are praised for following the rules, waiting their turn, and looking cute. The circumstances that render women silent are not all the same. Our various racial identities, cultural identities, sexual orientations, economic statuses, religions, physical abilities, and even our experiences of gender itself necessarily mean that the complex systems of injustice we must navigate will inevitably be different from one another as well. But the fact of a struggle unites us, and there is power when we come together in community with purpose. Make no mistake about it. Women don't simply need another public speaking class. We don't simply need another lesson in posture or eye contact or persuasive appeals. We don't need to be told to lean in. We've been leaning in. What we need is to purge ourselves of the belief that the feelings of inhibition and failure and resistance that we experience when butting our heads against the walls of injustice are somehow a result of our own deficiency. The problem is not within us. The problem is within a society that tells us to be quiet. So yes, we need to speak, and we need to learn to speak powerfully, but more importantly, we need everyone, including other women, to listen. Through individual mentoring, group discussions and workshops, and public events such as the celebration of speech today, Women's Voices Worldwide aims to support every woman and girl in recognizing that women's voices are needed in the world. We aim to support every woman and girl in bolstering the conviction that her voice, not just the voice of some so-called expert, not just the voice of someone with more so-called experience, not just the voice of someone with more so-called intelligence or talent, but her voice is needed. And we aim to support every woman and girl in building the courage to speak and to speak out not without fear, but in spite of the fear. And we aim to support her in creating her own strategies for speaking authentically, effectively, and powerfully, given her own unique circumstances and aims. Today marks over 100 years of a global holiday intended to celebrate the achievements of women, to raise awareness about pressing contemporary issues, and to provide a forum for women to promote their demands. International Women's Day has been observed since the early 1900s and is now an official holiday in 27 countries, though not yet the United States. Thousands of events are held throughout the world to celebrate today, including parades, political rallies, conferences, networking events, theater performance, even gift giving in some places, and more. So in honor of International Women's Day, Women's Voices Worldwide launched our first celebration of speech on March 8th of last year. We created this event in order to educate ourselves and the community on the ways that women's courageous testimony and advocacy has shaped our global history. The event was made to honor an extraordinary legacy of women speakers and to draw attention to the critical role that women continue to play in the global community. Most importantly, the event aims to inspire all who listen, especially the young girls in attendance, to believe that their words matter. The celebration last year created a powerful energy that we knew before even the day was over that we would have to do it again the next year and to make it even bigger and bolder than before. To put on today's second annual celebration of speech, I organized a leadership team of extraordinary women, including Bonnie Diamond, who was last year's event coordinator, Amy Jo Matrani, who was last year's leadership team member, Deb Banks-McIntosh, Ami Tarachi, Hei Hun Cho, and Kate Andropoulos, who have worked tirelessly since the early fall in preparing for the event. By my side every step of the way has also been our magnificent event coordinator, Maggie Balmer. Yes. Maggie Balmer is a graduate of the Cardozo School of Law and is an attorney licensed to practice in both New York and Massachusetts. She has brought her background in clinical psychology to bear on her work as a counselor on an inpatient psychiatric ward and as an advocate in the New York State Attorney General's office in the Healthcare Bureau, among other positions. Prior to returning here to her hometown of Northampton in 2012, Ms. Balmer served as an associate attorney at the immigration law firm Goldstein & Lee in New York. I had the great fortune of meeting Ms. Balmer over a year ago when she attended Women's Voices Worldwide's first weekly discussion group, and I continue to be blown away by her resilient spirit, her courageous self-advocacy, and her passion for social justice for all people. From finding her voice to reclaim and tell the personal story of overcoming limb loss, to speaking back to internet bullies, to using her voice in service of a broader vision of mentorship and advocacy for others, Ms. Balmer epitomizes the spirit of Women's Voices Worldwide. It is my pleasure to welcome Maggie Balmer to the podium now to talk to you about what the day has in store.